Hi everyone. Today we have a live AMA between Polytrade and Define. Uh, Thank you, Piyush, for taking out time and doing this AMA for
Uh,
our community. Excited to have you here. Hope you are doing
th-
well.
Thanks, Lakshika. Yep, super excited. Our first partnership was with Define, so this is definitely a really exciting time for us.
Amazing, amazing. So, Piyush, can you tell us a little bit about your journey? How you got excited about blockchain space, and currently what you are planning to do?
Certainly, Lakshika. So, as I always been saying, this is not a startup. We have been into business of trade finance for last 7 years. We have financed over $500 million of invoices in a journey. And the idea of blockchain was always in our head. It's just that we found it right time to move our business onto blockchain so that we can smoothen the transactions, we can bring more transparency to the ecosystem, and we can reduce the pain points which we feel SMEs have in terms of availing the traditional finance, right? So, like cost of funds has been super high into this space. The time taking in approving the proposals is also quite high in the traditional space. So we know that there are some very basic problems which will be solved by blockchain and which will help SMEs and MSMEs to a greater extent. And this is a huge domain which is completely untapped yet. So that's the whole idea.
Got. And when did you start working on this idea?
We started working on this idea last year in July. Then we started writing up our proposals. We had started working on our white paper and everything. As so like actively we launched our white paper and we started discussing with the investors. We raised our capital in May, and constantly at the back end we've been working on our product. So that is the most exciting part here. We are
Piyush,
doing
your
it very very.
video is getting blurred and audio is also getting blurred. Maybe try turning off the video. Maybe that would
Yeah,
save some bandwidth for the audio.
Sure, let me do that. Yeah, is it better now?
yeah,
Yeah.
much better, much better.
Okay. So yeah, as I was saying, I'm sorry, I lost the track. Where were we?
When did you
So yeah,
start that? You were telling, yeah.
so, so we started last year July, and as we are we are very close to releasing our MVP now, and we are planning to go live by January 22 with the mainnet business.
Oh, interesting, interesting. So
So Piyush, can you give us one question from my side? Piyush, can you give us a flow for a MSME to come and use your platform? Like I have a lot of people in my family who run MSMEs, and I want to know what would their journey be like if they decide to onboard on Polytrade and get some capital for their business loans.
So definitely, Priyesh, that's one thing which I always believe that it's the most important aspect of our business, right? Um, a MSME or a SME when who is completely non-crypto native person would find it really difficult to interact on a blockchain platform, right? So for us, the user interface for a borrower till he's educated about how to deal with cryptos has to be as simple as he's going on any fintech platform to borrow money, right?
Piyush,
So
sorry to cut you, but your voice is breaking. I'm not able to make out what you are saying.
um, okay,
Yeah, can you
I guess
switch
there
to
is.
another?
Okay, just give me 1 second.
Yeah, yeah. In the meanwhile, Priyushu, can you tell our listeners a little bit more about Define, what you guys are up to, how you guys are progressing?
So hi guys. So Define has done a lot of progress in past 2 or 3 months. One of the key milestone was that we launched prediction markets, which allow users to have a position on whether the price of cryptocurrency will go up or down in the next few minutes. So when we launched the product, the only time interval which we supported was 5 minutes, but now it has changed, and now we have multiple time formats. For example, there's a 5 minute window, there's 15 minute window, and there's even much longer windows coming. So the idea behind adding these windows was that so that some experienced traders who do a lot of technical charting and analysis can take more informed decisions, and they can use their insights to actually earn some money. And since all of this is done in a completely decentralized way, this makes it a far better options than some shady apps you have. I mean, I'm sure all of you would have seen a lot of ads in between playing games, like some options apps which show you how easy it is to make money by betting whether the price is going up or down. But the one fundamental problem with those apps is that they are not decentralized, and you can never know if they are giving you the right price, and if they're not cheating you. So blockchain actually fixes this problem, and you're able to get the guarantee of authentic price. Since we are sourcing our prices from authentic oracles from coming from Chainlink, they are decentralized, and anyone can view their code and see if the prices are factually correct. Okay.
Yeah, got
Welcome
it,
back
got
to
it.
looks far better.
Okay,
Yeah,
great. I'm sorry for that. So yeah, I'm in a very bad location. So okay, nonetheless. So let me answer the question which Lakshika asked. Sorry, Priyashu, you asked me about MSMEs. Uh, I was saying that MSMEs today would not care about where the funds are coming from, or whether it's a blockchain platform, or whether there is a technology behind it. What they really care for is there is a platform which gives them ease of borrowing money in a timely manner, and in a efficient manner which they understand, right? And when we look at SMEs and MSMEs, they are largely from tier 2, tier 3 cities in India specifically, right? So till they really get educated about the product, about the blockchain, about the crypto space, we have to ensure that they have a seamless experience of borrowing money, right? So our dashboards are created in such manner that a borrower with the easiest way would be able to upload his invoice, register on the platform, and get his financing whether the invoice, if the invoice is being approved by the governance, right? So for him, it's a very simple UI UX. He goes on, he submits the invoice. The invoice goes back to the blockchain system at the back end, where service providers are giving in their feedback, and on the based on the governance rules being defined, the invoice gets rejected or approved. And within a very short span of time, he gets a result, he gets an offer from our end, from Polytrade, that this is the financing offer which we are proposing to him. Okay, if he's happy with the offer, he simply accepts it, and the funds are being disbursed to his bank account.
So how are the funds dispersed to the bank account? I assume that Polytrade is a crypto entity. So is it that you also maintain a treasury in your bank accounts?
Yes, Priyashu. So for that matter, we are talking to few custodians where we will be doing on-ramp, off-ramp fiat to crypto conversions. So yes, you're right. Our lending pools will be in crypto, stable coins to begin with. And as and when the blockchain gives the consent of approving an invoice, the stable coins would be converted to fiat, and then we have a Singapore entity which will remain as a financing entity for our borrowers. So as I said, it's completely two different systems working in parallel, where protocol is running on blockchain, and fiat, the cryptos are being deposited. But then the moment decision is being made, our Singapore entity will act as a normal factoring company, where it is going to disburse the funds, it is going to do the collections on the due date from the buyer, and even the credit insurance probably will be taken at that entity level, because these things are to be implemented at the real world level, right? So if, let's say, there is a default scenario from the buyer, the entity should be able to trigger the credit insurance, right? So we will be creating these parallel spaces, we are creating these parallel spaces where both transactions will happen simultaneously.
So from what I'm seeing that there would be four different types of costs involved in dispersing a loan. The first one is, of course, the yield which you have to pay, or
Cost of funds.
the
Yeah.
interest rate. The second would be when you are going from fiat to, sorry, from crypto to fiat, then there would be a cost involved. And when
Yep.
there's a repayment made, there would be another cost involved, which would be from the crypto, sorry, from the fiat back to crypto. And then
Correct.
there would be insurance cost involved. So
Yes.
factoring in these four costs, and if I compare them to the given yields that people are getting on the yield farms, stablecoin farms,
Yeah.
etc. So
Mhm,
I
mhm.
want to understand, how do these numbers look like? I mean, do they add up? And if they do, then how do they look like? Just some ballpark
So,
estimate.
yeah, yeah. So Priyashu, there is no parity between how these attractive yield farms are coming these days, and doing a lot of derivatives behind them to create high APYs, right? There is no parity for sure. But if you look at the protocols like Aave, Compound,
Yeah,
you look at the stable rates, stable APYs which they are offering, right? They are not insanely high. They are not 40, 50, 100% APYs, right?
correct.
They are single digit APYs which are being offered. The only difference which our lenders would be getting an extra benefit here is that their money is being deployed into real world assets which are further insured by credit insurance, right? So the chances of losing that money purely out of some hack or purely out of some attack on the protocol would be gone down to almost zero in our case, because the money is being disbursed to the real world users. There is a credit insurance which comes to our rescue in case of a default, right? So the capital will always be preserved for a lender. Now look at the institution. So I always think it this way, Priyashu, that uh,
But I would say that, I mean, users are still exposed to the smart contract risks because they are
of
voting
course,
on government's platform.
of
So
course,
those
but
risks
it's not
still
that
exist.
the money is sitting on our treasury, right? So the funds are already disbursed into the real world. It is not moving into the crypto ecosystem. So one more thing, to answer your question, that who would be my lenders, who would be people who are interested in such APYs. So we consider ourselves as a fixed income product. If you compare it with real world today, institutions, large fund houses, when they do various strategies of investing their money, they always have a significant portion going into risk-free fixed income kind of portfolios, right? And no
Treasuries,
better platform they
treasuries.
can find where they can come here, they can get a decent yield, but they know that their money is super safe, and it's a constant APY irrespective of the volatility in crypto system, right? So whether crypto markets are in bull run or bear run, your APYs are not governed by those. Your APYs are governed by the lending rates which we are going to offer to our borrowers, right?
So will
And to
people be able to come in and come out anytime, or is there going to be some time, fixed time
there,
schedule?
so Priyashu, unlike normal protocols where only crypto ecosystems are in place, because we are lending money to the actual invoices, there'll definitely be locking periods. So there'll be 60 days, 90-day different pools which will create, and they have according locking systems. And to answer your previous question about additional cost of converting fiat to crypto and crypto to fiat, uh, those costs are minimal as per our assumptions right now, the quotes which we have received. Further, because we believe that it will be a constant exercise of deploying money, we don't really need to do conversions back to crypto. Our treasuries at the Singapore level can always be used to deploy the next payout or the next disbursement, right? So those costs can be curtailed with the greater treasury management.
Right. And how, I mean, what is the strategy here to deal with international laws? For example, if you are in India, like, if I take loan from your company for my dad's business, then if I want to pay back, then I'm getting involved in rules like FEMA and FERA, and then they are a headache to deal with. If I have to
Of
send
course.
money outside, if I have to
Of
receive, they are excellent. They don't have any
Of course.
problem.
So, Priyashu, I think you answered the question yourself. Here, what we are doing is we are buying your receivables, right?
Mm.
So, we are not going to recover money from you. We are going to recover money from your buyer, which is sitting abroad, right? So, take an example of a handicraft manufacturer in India selling to Walmart. Okay. When the goods are sold, he raises an invoice on Walmart, and Walmart promises him to pay after 90 days or 120 days, right? So, typically, what we have done is we go and we purchase his invoice from him at a discount, right? So in his books, receivables are already booked. So he is not liable to pay us any day. He's just received his receivables. If you see, I have paid to him on behalf of Walmart.
Right.
right? And on 90th day, 120th day, whatever the due date is, Walmart will directly pay to Polytrade
Right.
and settle that outstanding.
Right.
Right, so we do not fall into any regulations, any FEMA guidelines, and there are clearer laws by all the regulators that factoring is a product which is more like selling your receivables. It is not really a borrowing. It remains as a off balance sheet financing.
Okay. But even in this case, I mean, this is a valid example for imports, exports. So what if the both the buyer and seller are based in India?
No, we are not going to be deploying the domestic factoring product because there are currency risks involved. Since our lending protocols are all in stable coins, let's say USDT or USDC, our lending will also be in US dollar terms only.
Okay.
Right, so INR invoice will not be funded. So that's a completely separate product, Priyashu.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So, what is your strategy for hedging stablecoin risks across the spectrum? I mean, there is some stablecoin risk involved even with USDT and
Of
maybe
course.
even with USDC. So, what is the strategy there?
One very simple strategy which comes to rescue is that you take insurances, right? And since there are no currency conversions happening in terms of any other cryptocurrencies, we are completely alienated from the volatility of crypto, right? We will ensure that whatever currency deposits we have, we will always keep equal buckets of all the possible stable coins, which are not that risky stable coins, right? So whether it's a USDC, DAI, Binance, USD, whatever pools we create, we will have equal ratios as per the risk parameters defined by the blockchain. So
Okay, so that sounds good. So these were the questions from my side, and I think I'm done asking questions. Anything, Lakshika, you want to ask, or maybe we
No,
should move to
no. I think we should give Piyushu some rest. And Piyushu, this was very informative. I think
thank
I
you.
learned a lot in this 10 minutes. Um,
And
uh,
so I would like to update a few updates from our end, Priyeshu, Lakshika.
yeah.
So as I said, we have done our IDO a week back, last Thursday, in fact, and our end the team. So as I said, we have done our IDO. I'm able to hear my voice.
yeah, we are. It's echoing. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Wait.
that
So
was because I clicked
what
on
we
the
are trying
YouTube
to do
link.
is now. Sorry, go ahead, Priyeshu.
That was happening because I by mistake clicked on the YouTube link, so it was coming back and then it was going back.
Got it. So the update from our end is that we are very, very aggressively working on our product. And as I said, this is not a crypto native team which has just came out of nowhere, right? We have a 7 to 8 years of hands-on experience on trade finance to understand our business, what we are bringing on the table. So from the product end, our team is very strongly motivated. We are going to deliver our product as per the timelines mentioned on our website. We are releasing our MVP very soon. That will give a flavor, give a idea that how the product will look like, and that also proves our vision that how to harness the crypto liquidity and move it into the real world. Okay. In terms of our listings on exchanges, I think that is a constant exercise which we have to go through to address different communities to make sure that more and more people can participate in our business, and believers can stay with us for a long time. So these are few updates from our end.
Any alpha
I
for the Define community?
Sorry.
Any alpha?
As I said, our first partnership was with Define, and we are very, very, very excited that it was the first platform where we got listed also, and we constantly going to provide enough juice, I would say, to Define community so that they can stick with us for a long run. And at the same time, we will be probably announcing few more events with Define going forward. So I would request all the community members to stick with us, follow us on our social channels, and do not get confused with any scam links because that happens a lot in this space. So yeah, thanks Priyeshu, thanks Lakshika. This is from my end, and if any questions are there, I'm happy to answer. Or if community members can post it on our channels, Telegram channels or Twitter, we are happy to take it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if we have any questions from community, can you please show them on the screen?
In the meantime, can you guys tell? Okay, yeah, that was going to be my question.
Yeah.
When the farms are coming?
Yes. So, Nehar, thank you for that question. Our farms are almost ready to come. There are certain customizations to be done with Define team to make our farms ready. So I think we are almost there, and they should be released very soon. Similar products on Matic. Oh, so it's an interesting question because first of all, I would say there are only one or two protocols which are trying to bring the similar product what we are offering, and Matic as a layer two chain is a is a is a like how do I put it in the right words? You have so many products coming on Matic today, right? And the reason of anybody going to go on Matic is to speed up the transactions and lower down the gas fees for users, right? So it is creating a brilliant ecosystem for users or for the business cases. So first of all, the strengths to compete with similar products on Matic, I would rephrase that question. In any blockchain, in any chain other than Matic, there are no competitors who are addressing the same product. There are only one or two companies which are doing the similar product, but they are addressing the product in a very different way. Okay, so I don't see any competition here for us, thankfully. And the more competition comes, I think it makes the system better.
Yeah, and I would like to add here, the market I think is just getting started. It's like we are creating the market, right? So the more there are more people who are trying to solve a particular problem, the better it is. The better it will
So,
reach the different masses.
Lakshika, definitely. In fact, the crypto ecosystem is so big now, and the whole trade finance or the receivable finance gap itself is 1.7 trillion dollars, right?
Yeah,
So if I use the whole crypto liquidity today and put it on trade finance, still it won't be enough, right?
yeah,
So we have a lot of room for competitors to come and make this a even playing field.
yeah, yeah.
Fantastic question, Farhan. So yes, that brings us to the token utility of trade token. And as you rightly said, this can be done without trade token in picture. But we want to incentivize people to use blockchain going forward, and that is the reason trade token utility will come into place. So to give you an answer, any transaction which we will finance, there are three parties involved, or rather four parties involved in that transaction. There is a borrower, there is a buyer, there is a service provider who is feeding us, who is helping us to understand that invoice is to be financed or not, and then there is governance. Okay, all the four parties will get their payouts in form of trade tokens. So we will incentivize a borrower to use the platform by giving extra discounts using trade tokens. We will incentivize a buyer in the ecosystem to use us and to introduce us to all their suppliers to use this product. Again, we will be incentivizing that buyer through trade tokens. Governance will be incentivized purely on trade tokens, and we are also trying to work out a mechanism in which our service providers, whatever APIs, whatever information we are gathering from them, get also paid in trade tokens. So that defines the utility of trade token in our ecosystem. I hope I'm able to answer Farhan there. We believe the same thing, CryptoGem. So as I said during the call, we will be releasing our MVP very very soon, and then immediately it will be followed by testnet and the mainnet. So we are targeting by January we should go live with our first invoice to be financed. So we will. I know that it's a long run, but you also want to understand we are trying to develop a product which has not been there, and at there the complexities of merging DeFi to CeFi can never be easy, right? It has to be very very cautiously handled. But as I said, we will be coming out with products or releases in shorter time, so that you investors are always abreast of what we are doing, and communities knows exactly where we stand in the whole chain. So, Medic is a growing community, no doubt about that. In fact, probably, it will sound a bit odd to you that why our loyalties to Matic stays. So, Sandeep Nailwal, who is the co-founder of Matic, is the advisor on our board, and he has given a lot of direction in the way we should develop our product and protocol, right? So, I would say my loyalties lies with Matic. I will not go on other Solana or Avax. And the chains are working pretty much in parallel, in sync. Matic is developing their system quite fast, so they are not, I won't say that they are slower than any other chains today. And the cost of the gas fees has gone down to, you all know how the gas fees is, so there is no point dwelling into other chains at this moment.
Also, Piyush, in your case, I think it's not the game of volume per second, like how many transactions you are having
100%.
per second. It's more of a high number product, like high revenue generating product.
We just want transitions to be smooth. We just
Yeah,
want users to be able to use it properly. And since you're right, invoice amounts would be larger, so it won't matter whether you're paying $50 or $5 for a gas fee.
exactly. Yeah.
Chirag, what is the current progress on the Q3 milestone study in Europe? So, Chirag, we are very much on the task. In fact, we are trying to beat our own roadmaps, what we have defined. So we should be coming out with our MVP very soon, and just stay tuned to our announcements. I am assuring you that you will not be disappointed with the product launch. Yes, Crypto World. As I said, this is an ongoing exercise which will never stop, probably. So more exchanges are to be announced. Probably, not probably. You will be hearing one exchange listing tonight itself. So just keep tuned. Stay tuned for that.
No, Piyush. We don't want you to list on any other exchange.
This is Lakshika. So as more communities get interested, there are geographies which are always very loyal to a particular exchange, and that we have realized lately, right? So if you have to cater to new communities, have to reach out more people, you have to give them what they want. And our communities have been asking us for a couple of exchanges for a long time, so that's on the card now.
No, I was just kidding. In fact, we
I
are
know, I
also.
know, I know.
But yeah.
Hey Dung, I think right on spot. You are probably the ideal guy I should talk to. Yeah, so there is a lot of cooperation in future. We will be needing people like you, companies like you, to come forward and start using our services. And at the same time, if there are any mutually beneficial relationships, we'll definitely explore. So please reach us out on any of the social channels or email us. Our emails and everything is mentioned on our website. And we are happy to work together. So, Sivan, I think I am not going to answer this question. Let some surprises be there in the pipeline. Otherwise, there's no fun of surprise, right? Unfortunately not. As I said, we have closed our earliest investor rounds in May and June. We are already listed now. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a great time to get into enter into the business, as become our investors now. You can always buy from multiple exchanges. You can buy from Define. It's we are very liquid in all the exchanges. Yep, same question, I think.
Yeah, it's already.
Hey, Syed. Okay, so yeah, banking industry, to be honest, it's a competitor to us because we are stealing away their business. But then, all said and done, we do have plans to participate with banks where they can club their treasuries with our treasuries, and we can do sort of joint lending programs, or we can cater to their customers if they are not able to finance because of any reason. So Definitely collaborations with banks will be there on the card, but that's probably a long way to go.
Let's take one last question from the community, and then
Sure.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. So I probably as a promoter of the company, I should not disclose my personal holdings. But yeah, I'm largely invested in Polytrade itself. That includes my 8 years of hard work in this company and a lot of capital. So I guess
No,
that's
but
that.
I think the question is which funds have invested in Polytrade?
What funds have you
No,
invested in your coin? I think it's a bit wrongly.
My
But
interpretation would be what funds have invested in your coin and who they are. Like,
okay, so all the institutional investors who participated with us in our early rounds. We have AU21, we have Orient Protocol, we have Momentum 6, we have Define, we have Routers promoter Mr. Ramani is with us. We have Sandeep Nailwal in his personal capacity invested with us. So all those details you can find on our website. We have published all our investors' details. If that is the question you have answered, I think I have answered there. And if you're asking about my personal investments, I'll probably not answer that.
thank you, community, for the amazing questions.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you, Piyushu, for joining. Thank you, Piyushu, and thank you, Piyush, for joining us. And your session was very informative, like very informative. I think I might have to listen to it again. I might have missed some points, but I think it's like the most well spent 30 minutes of the life.
no, thank you, Lakshika. In fact, it is very amazing. It is very interesting to hear these kind of questions from people, right?
Yeah.
Because generally, when we hear questions, they are very typical questions which were asked generally from everybody, right? Here, it is very informative session for me as well, because more I talk about it, more I learn as well, right? So
Yeah.
thank you again for interesting questions, Priyashu and Lakshita both, and thank you community for these questions. And as I said, we are open to all the queries, and just stay tuned for more updates from our social channels.
Yeah, and as we progress deeper into our relationship and do some interesting things together, we should probably do one more AMA, as we see that our community is
Definitely,
quite interested. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you,
bye
everybody.
guys
Thanks,
and
Priyashu.
happy
Thanks, Lakshita.
Janmashtami, everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye,
Okay.
guys.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a nice evening.
Bye.
Bye.
You too.